gorgeous, wonderful colors. But we are continuing on, and we're gonna talk more J. King. This is just fun. Like I said, J. King, we don't offer on sale. We really don't. And so to take handcrafted, unique, rare finds, like we're showing you here in these earrings, your choice. We have either the coral, we have your lapis blue, or we have this available for you in your gorgeous turquoise. If you want turquoise, I'll tell you now, I have fewer than 100. So they're gonna be gone probably in the first 90 seconds. So there's your turquoise. I'll talk about where these particular ones, I know these are Afghanistan, you can just tell by the color on that lapis, and a lot of it, oh yeah, and again, 60% off, $39.90. We offered these at $99.90. Look at the drop, they're so beautiful. Under 3 inches, about 2 7/16 in length, and 7/16 of an inch side to side. But what's so unique here is that these are elongated. Each oval, it's an oval shape of the turquoise in a cabochon, or the coral, or that of the lapis, and it's inset. You'll notice here, I want to show it from the side too. It's inset at the center of a puffed, elongated, see that? How it's just like slightly puffed on the side, gorgeous frame. And then lots of movements, gorgeous depth to that coral color. But going back to your turquoise, that is Santeria turquoise, which is so pretty. You get a little bit, 2 dozen, last call on those earrings. But Santeria, you can see the mix of the greens and the blues, really pretty. Here it is in, let me see, the coral. And that's like more of a deep, like a red coral is what you're getting in here. So that's like a red-orange coral. And that was actually harvested in China. I'm gonna show you the back, high polished, that's all sterling. And then lastly, your Afghanistan in that high blue. Deep, rich, gorgeous high blue earring. Those are $39.90. If we were doing just a drop sterling silver earring at $39.90, I'd say jump on in, grab it as quickly as you can. But the fact that this is handcrafted, the fact that these are the 3 #1 most important stones that Jay brings to us, the turquoise, the lapis, and the corals, in a beautiful high fashion earring that appraised at $165, and that you could possibly get them home with a credit card, debit card, or a PayPal for $9.98. Well, we have 90 seconds or sell out. So at this point, we're counting backwards. So let me do this. I'm gonna remove turquoise. So pretty. Turquoise did sell out. But we do have lapis and coral, but final call in this, I'm feeling, yeah, lapis is just about gone too. And notice too, the movement. That I like to show off only because sometimes, you know, when you have something a little bit longer in sterling and silver, you might think, well, I don't know, I'm not good with heavy earrings. These are not heavy at all. That's why they're, you can see swinging, but they're, you know, again, they're substantial because obviously they're puffed. There's a lot of precious metal in here. They're stamped .925. They're part of the J. King collection. So they're also, you know, you have a designer. He'll stamp his pieces too, which we love. But what a fun, fun day of great special clearance prices. And that's, you know, that's what HSN loves doing. Not only, as I mentioned earlier, on a daily basis, you know, bringing to you amazing jewelry designers, but in this very unique case, someone like Jay, who has been in the jewelry industry for many, many years, but really started out, he is a rock hound. I mean, that's his passion. And now that he travels the world discovering, you know, different places to find, you know, some popular stones such as coral, or rare, unique finds, because coral, this is a great example, comes in lots of different colors. I'm wearing coral, it's a softer shade. You'll see we've done coral in like a salmon color. And then we do what we call the hot coral. That's that deeper, kind of a mix of a red and an orange, or, you know, that softer salmon color, but with more depth to it. That's what you're getting in this particular earring here. But the fact is, it's costume jewelry pricing, and we're not talking costume jewelry. We're talking natural stones, precious, beautiful metal, $39.90, which we're looking at a $60 savings. That's huge. and 4 or 5 flex pays. But good luck, lapis just sold out. So it looks like maybe 100 remain in that beautiful